Good evening, good evening. Coming up on the roundup, All Growed Up, following Northern Ireland writer Tony Macaulay's internationally acclaimed memoirs, Paperboy and Breadboy, as the third in the series. And just like Paperboy and Breadboy, All Growed Up has been turned into a musical that gets its premiere this weekend at Belfast's Lyric Theatre. Tony Macaulay is there now and joins us. Tony, you've been in rehearsals all week for All Growed Up. How's it all been going then?
It's going very well. I mean, this is my third time having this surreal experience of having my childhood, then my teenage years, and this time my student years turned into a musical theatre production. And I have to say, it's just as surreal as the first time. I still really can't get used to it. But the delightful thing about it is to see all this amazing talent coming together to kind of retell my story on the stage in this way. And there's a fantastic cast of very talented young people from all over the UK and Ireland through British Youth Music Theatre. We have an amazing creative team. We've got, this time it's written by Dean Johnson and Shauna Carrick, and Dean Johnson, who previously co-directed the others, is now directing this one as well. And Shauna Carrick's music is superb. It's a wonderful show what they've actually created based on the book. And then we've got JC Sheppy is the choreographer, who's working with the young people to create this brilliant movement and dancing. And I have to say, it's really good fun. You know, there's parts of it are hilarious in terms of some of the scenes, but there's also those sort of kind of poignant moments. It's about growing up and moving away from home, and feeling a bit unsure of yourself and insecure. I also meet my future wife. Wow. So there's wee scenes where I ask Leslie out and that kind of thing, which is really strange. It'll be strange for her this time. She'll be experiencing what I've gone through this past few years, and seeing my life on the stage. Well, this time it'll be both of us as well.
So following on from Paperboy and Breadboy, All Growed Up takes us out of the 1970s and we end up in the 1980s this time.
Yes, it's the early 80s, so it's that period. I wanted to be a new romantic, but I went to the university, NUU as it was known then, New University of Ulster Coleraine. I wanted to be, the next Steven Spielberg or the next Terry Wogans. I did media studies, and so it's about all that happened when we went up there. And actually, it's unlike the others, it's not entirely set in Belfast, so it's set in Coleraine. And we actually think this is probably the first time there's ever been a musical set in the Shankill, Coleraine, Portstewart, the Bogside and Balachi, all in the one show. So it has to be seen to be believed.
And you actually recreate some of the North Coast on stage during the show as well.
Yeah, so there's a wonderful scene around the story of Finn McCool that emerges as part of the storyline, and so the team have been working on that with hexagons, and that's a theme in terms of the whole stage design and the shape of things. It's very, very clever how they've put all that together.
So you mentioned earlier that you meet your future wife Leslie in All Growed Up. So tell us how that meeting originally happened then.
Well, it's at the university. It's the first few weeks at university, and I go along. I'm invited to go along to the Christian Union meeting in LT 17, Lecture Theatre 17, and so I went along, and there was Leslie, and our eyes locked across a sea of girls called Heather from Portadown. That's quite funny as well. It's interesting in the book. I talk about a number of Leslie's friends were all called Heather, and they were from Portadown. Right. Well, you should see the Heathers from Portadown on the stage, how they've done that. Yeah, so that's basically how we met, and it all started from there. And then we visit. Then she comes to Belfast and visits my hometown for the first time, and then I go to Balachi, and I go up the country for the first time, and we have all that experience as well. Mm-hmm.
So as we've said already, you've got a cast of very talented performers in the show. Tell me about young Dara, who's playing the young Tony in the show. It can't be easy for him as an actor, having you around the rehearsals all the time.
Yes, I know. I'm aware of that. Sometimes I think, I think they find it helpful that I'm around because they ask me questions and things like that. But I hope it's not. I hope it's not intimidating. Sometimes I see him looking towards me as if to say, "Have I got this right?" But he is really talented. He's superb. Dara McNaughton. He's a very talented young man. He's playing the part brilliantly. And it's funny. He asked me the other day, "How did you dance? What way did you dance in the 1980s?" So I sort of gave him a 1980s dance, and I said, Leslie always tells me off because when I dance with my mouth open.
Right.
Which he thinks looks a little weird.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ever since when he's doing scenes where he's dancing, Dara's dancing with his mouth open. So he's committed to being completely authentic in the role.
And has he got the high karate aftershave out as well?
Oh, of course, the high karate aftershave has to be there, yes. We also have, it's amazing how the team have pulled together props. There's an authentic 1985 Doctor Who annual is going to be on the stage. And it's people come along. It's fascinating how they kind of recreate the TARDIS to travel through time, through my years through university as well. So my love of sci-fi, which is sort of the theme running through the books, it really comes out in this particular one.
So tell me about the opening night. It's this Friday. Do you still get nervous on an opening night?
Oh, of course. It's strange because you feel nervous, but I'm not performing. I don't have anything to do. I've just to sit there. But I suppose I'm so invested in the whole creative process and the team and the young people. I'm so invested that I want it to go really well for them because I know how hard they've worked, and I wanted to go well because I know it's a real. We've had the first full run through last night, and we know it's a really good show. So you're just nervous that it's going to work and the audience is going to react in a good way to it. Hopefully, we want the audience obviously to love it. So I hope they will.
So All Growed Up opens at the Lyric on Friday and runs all weekend.
Yeah, we're running all weekend in the Lyric Theatre. So Friday, Sunday, there's matinees and the evening performances as well. But we're interesting this time. We're also doing a recording, and there's going to be a screening of it at the Riverside Theatre in Coleraine on the 23rd of August, and a Q&A with myself as well. And that's the first time we've done something like that, so I'm quite looking forward to that. And it's very appropriate because they're doing a screening of the musical in the Riverside Theatre, and the Riverside Theatre is in the musical. Because when I was at Coleraine at university, I had a go in the Drama Society, and there's a scene of me trying out for Hamlet, on auditioning for Hamlet. So that'll be quite wonderful to be showing it on the actual stage where I was 40 years ago trying to audition for Hamlet.
And were you any good?
Didn't get the part. No, I'm not as talented as Dara, I can tell you. I was soldier number one, holding a stick. But I did get to say something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I had a good line, but I think that was about the only line I had.
Well, Tony, it's been great to talk to you as always. Best of luck with the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Robin.